All right, everyone, welcome back into another NBA DFS video. Have the Wednesday slate here for you guys, and it's a pretty big slate. With that, we can kind of probably expect some news to break maybe after lineup lock or right before lineup lock, basically like every single slate. Now, we were talking before stream. It's kind of like a busy time of the year for everyone that does like fantasy sports. But right now with March Madness, I mean, how many brackets do you got going on right now?
Well, I haven't made any, but I have to make 20 plus tonight. Yeah, I'm gonna because I can't do DraftKings at my state. They have a pretty good March Madness bracket contest, but the one that's easily accessible to me, I guess, is on Bet Online, and it's less than $200 to max out 20 entries. It's like 50K to first, so that's what I'm doing. And then, dude, like Underdog dropped the rookie plus sophomore contest for NFL. We got PGA tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
It baseball starts next week. I still need to draft more baseball teams. It's like this is one of the busiest weeks for fantasy sports of the entire season, of the entire year. Actually,
Yeah,
I love it
it,
though. This
it
is
really
awesome.
is. And I think that's like that can lead to an edge, honestly, tonight and like tomorrow night. And even if they do the late swap on Friday, because like people are not going to be as like locked in, I think, to NBA DFS, especially with all the weird like in and outs that have been occurring and stuff. Like I think it's a good time to have some like edge. Like, I mean, like you said, you're going to be building 20 lives, so that you're not going to be as locked in tonight. So, like, it is kind of a nice spot, I think, for DFS purposes as well.
Yeah, and it's like it's so weird with the end of NBA stuff. Like if you guys have been scrolling up to the top of the contest the past few days and just seeing what lineups are winning, it's chalk. Like there is rarely a lineup with less than a 10% guy in the winning lineup, and it just or maybe like yesterday, I don't know if Jalen Suggs or maybe Cole Anthony made it in there, but
Trey Jones potentially too.
yeah, like just jam in the chalk, get one guy who's 10% owned, and that's seems like enough even in these huge like the $4 100K to first lottery today. Like I'm not trying to get as different as I was earlier in the season. It's just the chalk is too strong right now with players missing.
Yeah, and man, yesterday, Chalk, Fred Van Vliet let me down. Like there are so many lineups where I just
Oh
had like
man.
one little mistake, and if I just did maybe like I wouldn't have, so I'm not like too bittersweet. But like if I did like five more lineups, I think I really would have came close to. I wouldn't have taken one down, but I would have had a really good night. And it's just that's always a little tilting where you're just like one off.
Oh, dude, every single day I'm putting a lineup in the top 1%. And it's like, I'm not winning that much money, but I mean, that's kind of the bar for like, that's how you evaluate your play. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not winning contests, but am I playing well? Am I playing poor? And it's like, if you're putting lineups in the top 1%, you're playing well. The difference between 100th place and first place in any given night is literally just variance. Like if you made a lineup that finished 100th and you're like, what could I have done differently to win? Like absolutely nothing. It's just variance. There's no difference between first and 100th in these contests that have 100,000 entries. And so if you're giving yourself chances, I mean, it's really hard to win a DFS. Only one person wins that big contest every night,
Yes.
right? So, we're playing for the long game and we're here for it.
Yes, exactly. So we got Jose saying, where do we start? Well, that's a good question. Honestly, I think it's going to be with Toronto. That's where a lot of the ownership is going to be. I think that's mostly because, well, Toronto's pretty banged up tonight. So let's start there with like the news section. So looking at it, all the same players that have been out are going to be out as well. And but also attaching quickly to that. So Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, Boucher, you got Joachim Pertl, and then quickly is out as well. So my guy Jordan Mora is chalk, which I'm kind of okay with that. The issue that I have with Toronto tonight is kind of feels a lot like last night with Washington, where Washington, I feel like it's a little bit different. Like Washington, I didn't love the pool chalk. The Kispert chalk
Mm.
still felt a little bit priced up. I think it's a little bit better for Toronto, but at the same time, we got a couple values that we could play. It's more or less just getting the values right here, I feel like. So I don't know. Where are you at with Toronto?
Well, I hit build first thing, and I think my highest two on players were Nora and Porter on my first run. I don't really want to go with that, so I'm probably gonna end up changing that. But I mean, they're just too good of plays. Like Nora's kind of sketchy because I mean, there's a chance that he still loses minutes. We're just assuming he's going to get the minutes, but we saw Jalen McDaniel shine in a similar spot a week or two ago.
Mhm.
And just so there are other options. I mean, Nora's going to be the preferred one, but this I don't think this is like Washington. We had like what four chalk pieces yesterday. Were super cheap, and it was just finding the right ones. And
The
today,
combination, yeah.
it's kind of similar with Toronto, with Quickly out, and it's like basically a G League team. So I mean, they have Kelly Olynyk, but
Yeah.
Jonte Porter's a chalk. And so, what do we do with those two guys? Are we trying to only play one per lineup? I think so.
I don't know. I could get to Wara and Porter easily, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Um, but then it's like, what do we do with Abad or Akache? How do you say his last name?
I
It's
think
not
it's
wrong.
Ochai Agbaji.
Abaji. Yeah, there we go. So like I'm fine with his price for sure, but like these other two, like Jalen McDaniels, 13 minutes. Obviously, we don't love that. Ramsey, 20 minutes. Like, don't know much about him, honestly. 5%, 3%, but like, could they have a good game? Sure.
Fantastic name, by the way, Jamius Ramsey.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually got a little bit of him in my run, but it's kind of just taking shots. Like I'm gonna play more Porter, I'm gonna play more Nora, and I like Bruce Brown today. His ownership on FanDuel is kind of insane.
Yeah,
Um,
64.
but I think those are the three main guys we want to target from Toronto, and then like Grady Dick, Gary Trent, Agbaji, and then I guess Ramsey and McDaniels are kind of
Mhm.
like the I mean, those last two are like deep pivots, but
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much everyone from Toronto is in play today. I wouldn't say that any of them are unplayable. They have
Would
9
you
guys, 10 guys.
would you say you would limit at all, like to 3 or 4?
It's so I didn't have to put in a rule for this, but I
Oh,
was getting most of my lineups. I wasn't getting many with 4 Toronto. I was getting a lot with 3 and a bunch with 2, but I wasn't
yeah.
getting many with 4. I think I would. Um, I don't know. Like limiting to 4 makes sense. Like 3 might be a little bit too specific, especially in this paced up game against Sacramento.
Mhm.
But it's a large slate, and so I'm going to be okay with 2. I'll be okay with 3. I don't know that I'm going to be comfortable with 4, but if you get there, I don't think it's bad.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Another spot that I don't, it's not too noteworthy, but it's kind of just the next game on the list. I would say it's enough. So Utah could potentially be without John Collins tonight. They're going to be without Jordan Clarkson, and they're still without Laurie Markkinen. Um, I don't know. Taylor Hendricks could be someone I would look at if that happens, but also Keontae George is kind of priced up, and people aren't really getting to him. 5% owned. Do you see any spots here that you would like? Assuming Collins sits now, if he plays, I do think that changes a little.
Yeah, there's like something weird where I think people think, oh, and I thought this too, that OKC is better at defending guards than they actually are. Like SGA is good on defense, but he's not like the best defensive guard in the
No.
NBA or anything. And like Keontae's price is up, but it's still a spot that I don't love to target. The two guys from Utah I was looking at, assuming John Collins doesn't play, were actually Taylor Hendricks and Bryce Sensabaugh. And I'm assuming those two are going to jump up in the model if John Collins does get
Mhm.
ruled out.
Yeah, they're just a little bit too cheap, and maybe they're just more at a weird price tag for people. But yeah, those two do stand out to me, and I do think Keontae George is a player I'll be overweight on the field, just hoping that he gets closer to 35 minutes because I think he's someone that can give us 40 fantasy points if he does get closer to 35 minutes tonight. And so like I don't want to miss out on that at that cheap price tag.
Yeah, I'll have to see how much Keontae. I wasn't getting much. Maybe I'll boost him a little bit
Mm,
now. Yeah, I'll have to see who's even taking up my. It looks like I'm paying up for guard actually, so I'm not getting like I'm paying up for Fox, SGA, and Lillard,
yeah.
even Halliburton in there. So I'm actually not getting to as much of the mid range, but I'm sure that's only because we have pretty good value in Nora Porter
Mhm.
at the other positions. So
That makes sense. And so um let's get into Milwaukee because someone kind of commented about that. So with Giannis out, what are we doing with Lillard and Middleton? So you just kind of mentioned that you're getting to Lillard as a pay
yeah.
up. So he does feel like a good play, but like Boston is slightly a matchup that I do worry about. Them, Orlando, pretty much. Are you worried about that? Are you fine with Lillard as a play?
It's so funny. Like I registered a little bit. Like I registered 100 entries into the $4. Usually I only do 60, and then that was before I looked at the slate and I saw like Damian Lillard was going to be kind of chalky, and
Yeah.
it makes me so nervous. We've seen this spot a couple times before, but we do have enough pivots off of him. Like those other guys I mentioned, De'Aaron Fox, SGA. We even have like a Tyrese Maxey,
Mhm.
Halliburton. So we have options. We don't have to just jam in Dame. But it's just if Giannis was ruled out 2 days ago, or I don't know when he was ruled out, but
Yeah.
Dame is underpriced is the point with Giannis off the court. So I think we just have to just play some and hope for the best. But I'm not jamming him at all.
I will say my worry for the Bucks is that I shouldn't say my worry. I should rephrase that. But like, I would have been more in on Brooke Lopez, Bobby Portis, but we haven't really seen this version of the Bucks. You know, after the All Star break with Doc, with Giannis out and Middleton on the court. So like, I I would want to be on Bobby a decent amount. We have seen him step up in this situation, but that was with Middleton out or limited. And same thing with Brooke. Like those two naturally step up typically. And I would say Lopez is kind of under owned given what he can do with Giannis out. Like I still think he's worth a GPP risk, especially when at 1%, you can be 5% and potentially have a GPP winner. But like Middleton, I feel like he's fair price. I'm just like, it's harder today with the Bucks. Like Lillard feels safe. Like Jay Crowder should be a good value play. I'm a little bit surprised he's not more chalk, but at the same time, I kind of get it. So I don't know. I want to take some stabs on Lopez and GPPs, and then like Jay Crowder. Do you feel like Jay Crowder's like too low owned, or is he just a little bit too risky?
I don't love Jay Crowder. It's just like even with Giannis off the court, Dame and Chris Middleton being back, Jay Crowder's usage is still really low. So we're kind of just relying on him to hit a bunch of threes, get a steal or two, and I don't know, 4 rebounds or something like that. His rebound prop today was 4.5. But I don't know. It's probably appropriate ownership. I have 4% right now, so he's in my player pool, but it's not a spot that I'm loving. It just we don't have a lot of super payups today, so unless you're trying to jam 4 of those 9K guys in your lineup, Jay Crowder's not super necessary. But as to like alternatives from this team, I mean Bobby Portis, GPP play. His ownership seems fine on DraftKings, FanDuel. His price is high, but you're getting him at 2% owned. So we saw him blow up for what a huge like 40 points in the first half last week or something. Malik Beasley, GPP, and then Pat Bev. I don't know if he's going to end up starting or what they're going to do with the lineup, but I was interested in Pat Bev. I was surprised his ownership was so low, but people must be assuming he's not going to start tonight.
Yeah, yeah. And I would rather get to Beasley, I think, there as well, for the most part. But like that's another thing. Like if Middleton was out here, or like we had just seen this, like we'd have a better idea what to do with Beasley because he is too cheap. Now it is a match with Boston, but like he is someone that again could put up like 35 fantasy points. I don't think that might be a little bit too much, like 30 fantasy points. I don't think people would be like too shocked. So kind of a weird spot.
Well, kind of look at him versus Nora. He's a little bit more expensive, right? And
Yeah.
he's coming in with a fraction of the ownership. But I mean, he's going to outscore Nora a percentage of the time, and I don't know. It's really risky. We have so many other good options. If we didn't have as many other good options on this slate, Malik Beasley would come in higher owned. But for me, he's just a deep GPP play who needs to hit like 5 or 6 threes to get there today.
Yeah, I'm there. And then the other spot here, and I'm a little bit surprised at how chalky they are, is going to be the Kings. So Kevin Werther is out tonight, and so I don't really think that would change that much for the Kings. Do you? Because we're getting 30% Malik Monk, 24% Fox, and Sabonis. Is that more with the injury, or is that more the matchup?
I don't know what it is because Werder's been losing minutes anyway. If you look at like his game log, I'm pretty sure that he's losing big minutes, and I know he got hurt last time out or something.
Yeah.
That one hurt, by the way. But I mean, Malik Monk to me, as long as he's in this price range, he's basically always a GPP play, and this is one of the better matchups in the NBA. It's not a terrible spread, 10.5, and then. Like I said, I'm getting to Fox, and then DeMantis is the highest projected player on the slate. So really like getting to DeMantis. Keegan Murray's flip a coin on Keegan Murray. You're going to get 15 or you're going to get 37.
Which is fine, honestly. Like
it's fine. Yeah.
I will say I find this funny. I saw some people like from I don't know, with prize picks, their last 5 games was like popping up where they was just insanely amount for like fourth quarter props and like half props. It was just completely off. And like I wonder if there's like whoever DraftKings, prize picks, whoever they get their data from, it's weird that it hasn't been corrected yet. Just like 80 minutes there. We saw this last night with someone else where they had like 76 minutes. I don't know what's going on there. It's just weird. I just somewhat worth pulling up there or just calling out. Just weird.
Yeah, notice that like Keldon Johnson averaging half a fantasy point per minute and 74 minutes played. Like
that's what it was. Yeah. It's just like what's going on here? Like this is weird. No, go ahead.
I just wanted to mention Keon Ellis is in the rotation, and with Werder out, like I said, Werder lost some minutes, but those minutes, if Keon Ellis absorbs all of them, I mean, we haven't projected for 28. That seems kind of high, but 3,700 Keon, like I'm more comfortable with Keon Ellis than I am with like Jay Crowder, even though he's a couple hundred more on DraftKings anyway. On FanDuel, the 4,800 is probably a little uncomfortable, but 3,700 on DK at 15% ownership seems pretty good for Keon Ellis.
I'm right there with you. I think he's a very strong play. Like I'm pretty high on Mora tonight. I feel like if you go Ellis and Mora, like you're already pretty much set up to make whichever build you want possible from there. Like if you want to pay up, sure. If you want to go more fan Browns, sure. Like you can really make that work. And I think I'm on board with that.
I like it.
The only other spot, I shouldn't say only other spot, but I do want to get your thoughts on Memphis as well, because they had been really, really annoying for 3 months of the season, like the middle of the season, because of how banged up they are. Now they are still very banged up, but they got Desmond Bain back, they got Jaren Jackson back, a little bit more stable in that regard. Are you trying to get to anyone here? Maybe Bain, maybe Jaren Jackson, or are they now too high priced?
I'm not trying to. I will say they're on the night slate, right? And so
Are
on the
they?
night, yeah, they're playing
Oh,
a
okay,
Golden
my bad.
State 3-game night slate, and I think that like Bane, JJJ are really really good plays on the night slate, assuming they're not
Mhm.
going to come in as chalk. But on the main slate, there's still GPP plays on the main slate. Bane in particular, just because he can get hot from three, but I think based on the other options we have today, like instead of Bane, I'd rather just pay the extra 1,000 and get to those point guards I mentioned.
Yeah,
I will say the guy that pops up every single day, and I wish I knew why, Gregory Jackson.
yeah.
I have to like turn him down every single day because I get like 30% every day. But he's another guy that's popping up for me. I don't love him at
Mhm.
6K, but I mean he's pulling a little bit of ownership, so he's probably not the worst play, and the model thinks he's okay too.
Yeah, I think he's fine as well. But yeah, he is one of those plays where it's just like you don't want to play him ever. He's
No,
just
yeah,
there.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Any other spots that you think is worthwhile to mention injury wise?
Yeah,
Philly a little
Miami.
bit, but my okay, yep. So
Yeah,
we'll
with
jump in.
Bam out, Jimmy's in, and so I need to refresh the model because it had
Mhm.
Terry Rozier with an insane projection, higher than Jimmy. I do like Rozier today, but
Yeah,
like, are you seeing this 10.6 OF for Terry and
I
8.3
I
for Jimmy Butler?
I just refreshed it, so let me see as well. So
I don't know.
10.6 and 8.3. So
I don't
Terry was your
understand this.
10.6. Yeah,
Yeah, like the minutes look correct too. And so this is, I
tough
don't know.
matchup too.
Like it seems so off that it could be an error, but it could just be the model giving us one of the bigger edges of the day in Terry Rozier. And like I said, I do like Terry Rozier, but I didn't think that he was going to be this much stronger. Maybe Jimmy is just that bad of a play today. But I'm interested in both. Cleveland's tough. I do love Karis LeVert on the other side, but Terry, Jimmy, Caleb Martin all seem strong. Jaime Jaquez, I mean, 1%, he's probably worth a couple shots if you're making a bunch of lineups. And
Yeah.
then assuming Thomas Bryant starts at 4K, his ownership should go up if we get that starting lineup before lock, which we should.
Yeah, honestly though, like if we get Jovic starting as well, which he could already
Mhm.
do, but if he starts
Yeah.
at the 5 instead, like are you more interested or less interested?
Whoever starts, like Jovic in particular, I really like Jovic.
Mhm.
It's just, it seems like if he starts out playing well, when the game starts, he's going to play minutes. And if he plays bad, then they have other options. He's going to get benched.
Yeah.
But I don't know, actually, now that you say it. I think they're both kind of good. And then Orlando Robinson is still lurking at the flat min 3K,
Yeah.
regardless of if he
Yeah.
doesn't, even if he doesn't start, he's going to be a good play off the bench. But we don't know 100% he's going to get playing time. It's just if he does at 3K, I mean, it's the best value play of the day, right? But we only have projected for 15 minutes, so it's tough.
Even if he gets 15 minutes though, he could still do enough, but like
Mhm.
going against Cleveland, maybe Bryant gets into foul trouble, against Jared Allen, which I'm not ever really too worried about that, but it is something that is in the realm of possibilities.
Yeah, I mean, if you told me something like Orlando Robinson is definitely going to play at least what we haven't projected for,
Yeah.
at least 15 minutes tonight, I'd probably play him in like half my lineups, if not a little
For
bit
real.
more.
Yeah.
But it's just, he is a DNP risk. He probably plays, but
Mhm.
we'll see.
And then just real quickly on the other side of that game, just because we kind of just touched on Miami, Cleveland, they are still banged up. So they're still without Struess. They're still without Mobley. They're still without Donovan Mitchell. And then also Dean Wade. And I do think Dean Wade being out is enough like to like shift. And it's a bigger slate, but I still kind of like George's Niang a little bit. I
Yep.
don't know. Do you
Yep.
think that's too ugly? Do you like any other
No,
plays here?
I like Niang. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
interested in Niang. Like, as long as he's under 5K,
Yeah.
I don't know. He's getting the playing time. Like I think there's a perception about him because he doesn't play that much. He's not
Hmm.
that good relative to
No.
other players in the NBA. But at this price and the opportunity he's gotten, I mean, the last few games, 33, 29, 28 minutes. Like if we're getting 30 minutes out of 4,600 George Niang at
Hmm.
5% ownership, yeah, like 3 for 4 from 3, 2 for 5, 4 for 8, 0 for 6, 3 for 5. Like he's pulling.
Yeah, he
Um,
is.
so I don't mind him as a spot. And then I was kind of looking at Sam Merrill a little bit too. He's just always kind of in the back of my mind when Cleveland plays and they're missing a player.
Yeah.
But maybe that's a little bit too thin on today's slate. I'm not sure.
I would say at that price potentially, but he's kind of the same play as Niang, where it's like get out shooting the three ball, get those bonus
Yeah.
points as well. So
The thing I will say is Niang's minutes are probably a little bit more secure, even if he's not playing well. They just like you mentioned with Dean Wade out, they need a tall person out there to play minutes. And I mean, the other option right now, I guess Marcus Morris is on Cleveland. So
right, yeah,
we'll see how that. He already played a game, but it shouldn't affect the rotation too much about the guys that we're interested in.
I didn't realize Tristan Thompson was back. He was suspended, right?
I don't remember, but I saw him get stats last game. It's like they're running out Marcus Morris and Tristan Thompson, dude, and this is a team that people think are competing for a chip. Like, come on now.
No. So let's see here. Kind of just recapping all the stuff. I'm trying to get into the comments real quick. So, I think we kind of touched on most of it. The only one that I'm seeing that we haven't really, Ayton as a play, like he's been crushing. He has been. He's really been dominating. Did you see his kind of thing about, I'm human. I need to adjust for my new location, but it was like the whole air mattress thing. Did you see that? That was
Yeah,
so
dude.
weird.
The comments were hilarious. First of all, like, bro, what are you sleeping on an air mattress for, my guy? Like, I'm not even sleeping on an air mattress, and I'm sitting here just talking about you every day. Like, go buy a custom like Super King California King bed, whatever. I don't even know if that's big for him or big enough for him, but I don't know. To me, it feels like he was playing bad. Now he's playing well, and it's just coming up with why he's playing well. But it's just maybe he got into the flow of the offense. They are passing him the ball more. I mentioned that before. Maybe he's more inclined to do the dirty work since he's getting touches. But Ayton, I love him tonight. 8,200. Clippers. I don't know if people think Clippers are a scary matchup because I want to say like the defense first position for centers isn't great, but I don't care about that. Like Aiden's been fine, and as long as this game stays close, he's going to be a pretty solid center play.
And really matchups haven't been like too bad. You look at like some of his recent production. New York is a team center wise you don't really want to use. Atlanta, same thing. Boston a little bit. Toronto you would, but like he has been going off in those like less than stellar matchups as well. So I'm right there with you. While we're here with Portland, I want to get your thoughts on Scoot Henderson as well. So we saw his minutes get limited, or the minutes limit get pulled. He didn't play that many, only 30. Do you see any potential for him to get more than what he's projected, which is the 30? But he did still shoot 17 times in 30 minutes.
Dude, I see 17 shots in 30 minutes. Sign me up, man. I don't know that he has potential to play much more than 30, but he should. Okay. He's been playing right around 30 most of these games. I mean, maybe if it's close against the Clippers and he's playing really well, but I mean, either way, at 30 minutes and his price, his ownership, I think he's worth some GPP shots. Again, on the night slate, I'm probably going to play all the Scoot Henderson on the night slate.
Yeah, that makes sense. 6 turnovers too. So like he probably had him like he had close to a much, much better game than what he had.
Yeah, I mean, that was against Chicago. He had 6 turnovers.
Yeah. A depleted Chicago team.
They got Caruso, man. I mean, Clippers have Paul George and Kawhi, so same kind of thing. But I'm interested in Scoot. Yeah.
Here's another question here. So point per dollar play, best play on FanDuel. That's an easy click and sort here. Grady Dick. There you go.
Grady Dick, Stanley Amude, Bruce Brown, Jordan Nwora, Thomas Bryant. I'm sure that's the answer you were hoping for.
What a list, right? Yeah. What about Stanley? We didn't really mention him with Detroit, so we did get the news that Thompson's going to be out for the year. It's kind of just been like, let's go Fontecchio and kind of figure it out from there. Malachi Flynn, I believe he had a good game. I know he had a good game going for about a half. I didn't follow up and see, but like, do you like any of these plays? Stanley is extreme chalk.
Just from Detroit, man. Stanley Amude. I had like never heard of this guy 3 days ago, and I think he was in half my lineups the last time Detroit was on the slate. I mean, he played 34 minutes. That's pretty great. Super mega chalk on both sites. I'm not gonna say he's bad chalk, but that ownership does make me nervous when we already named a bunch of other pretty good value plays. So I think he's fine, but he's not the guy that I'm gonna rush to jam in today.
I'll be underweight for sure. I think like I don't really get why Malachi Flynn isn't more owned, and like I guess more minutes, but like just as cheap. I don't know. I guess I don't need to get to anyone from Detroit.
So, Popcorn Machine hasn't been updating their rotations, or maybe, oh, never mind, they have been. Because I was gonna say, Flynn took, I thought he took Sasser's minutes, not Amude. So,
Okay.
I don't think Flynn affects Amude, but he might affect Sasser. And I wonder if people are forgetting about Sasser, because he had an underwhelming game last time. But he played 34 minutes, and he was the chalk on the slate. And so, what is his ownership? Sasser 0% at 4,900. I mean,
Hmm.
Cade Cunningham is back, yeah, but I guess Jaden Ivey's in too, so
Yeah.
never mind. Yeah,
Yeah.
Amude is probably the guy from Detroit for the cheap value.
Yeah. I got to pull up my guy Tosan as well. If he starts getting minutes, this might be my late season GPP winner. He might be the guy that gets it done for me late season, where no one plays him and he goes off. Not tonight's slate, just a name I want to monitor.
It's a real person, dude.
Yeah, yeah, he was good.
Shout
So
out to him. Great name for an athlete.
let's see here. So jumping back into some questions here. Cunningham is back. Yep. Lopez or Holmgren and Keegan Murray. Uh, that's a great question, honestly.
Well, I'm getting a bunch of Malik Monk and I'm getting a bunch of Chet Holmgren, not getting that much of Brooke Lopez, and I'm getting a bit of Keegan Murray. I don't know. I think it depends on the rest of your lineup. Like those are both kind of contrarian. Like Lopez is contrarian, Holmgren's a little bit contrarian. So I'm not sure. Yeah, you have a good answer.
I no, like I would honestly, assuming the rest of his lineup's pretty chalk, I would lean towards Lopez. The Lopez one. I don't know. I know he's been bad recently and just not as good, but I just with the honest out, I'm hoping that he steps up like he has, and I don't know. I guess I'm more inclined to take that risk, is like hoping that his role expands and really goes off like we have seen earlier on the season with Giannis out.
Yeah, I don't have a confident answer for you there.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, because Keegan Murray's so hit or miss too.
Yeah, and Keegan and Brooke are basically the same in DK value. Malik Monk, I think, is Malik. Maybe I missed him, but I'm not really seeing him pop up here. So, and then Holmgren's not really going to show up near the top of value. Oh,
Yeah,
Holmgren's actually fifth on value.
is he?
So it might be Holmgren and Keegan if you're just going by the model, but I'm not seeing Malik Monk's name here. So he's either at the bottom or he's near the top.
Yeah, and Chet's not too high owned, but with that, let's go and get into the position by position breakdown. Let's start out with the guards here for DraftKings. So we already kind of mentioned a lot of the chalk there, a lot of the value there. We got a lot of value, and we got Terry Rozier that's kind of popping up as a play DK value wise. Let's just talk about the payups because I feel like we already touched on the values that are out there. We got SGA as a payup, Devin Booker as a payup, Lillard, got Halliburton, who I don't know. He made a weird comment about betters, which was I don't know weird. You got De'Aaron Fox, Maxey, Curry. Like, are you paying up? We already kind of mentioned Lillard, but who else are you paying up for there?
In order, I have a bunch of SGA, De'Aaron Fox. I'm getting Halliburton, but I hate it because I'm pretty sure he's hurt and he's shooting like 4% from three this month. And with the field chase, like if no one was playing him, I wouldn't mind taking the shot. But if the field is going to try and get there, it just feels like we have so many other options at the exact same price, like Maxi, De'Aaron, Fox, Steph, and I mentioned I like Terry Rozier. The model loves Terry Rozier. I don't know if this is wrong or not, but if this is true, then Terry Rozier is just like the best play on the slate considering the ownership.
Yeah, that one's so interesting. Like, it really is.
Yeah, something. I wonder if I can ask Moose if that's correct.
Well, it's like my thoughts are like, okay, like maybe it's pulling in some stuff from Charlotte, but that wouldn't make sense. It's probably just games without Bam. He's stepping up the most, whereas Jimmy Butler's sticking in the same role.
It's possible, yeah. But yeah, like this is. I'm gonna play Terry Rozier today. I'm not gonna super jam him in, but I'm gonna get over the field just based on this right here. So, kind of like
Yeah.
that.
I will say to me, the other than the value that we have, like for the guards, and I would still say Stanley. I feel like he's too high owned. Fox, I get it, but I haven't felt the need to get their Monk. I'm fine with Bruce Brown again. Like I don't exactly love that. It's just a weird spot. And then Keon Ellis, like he's the value place that I want to get to the most. And I would assume this ownership gets higher. Like I don't know. Do you think that's right? 13%.
Sacramento, they're not even the last game today, so I have no idea. If they're the last game, I was going to say maybe it'd come in a little bit lower, but since they're earlier, maybe it's not as low as the model thinks. But either way, like this is another spot the model is clearly telling us to
Yeah.
overexpose ourselves to. So I'm gonna just go for it and hope it works out.
Yeah. This might be where I get a little bit different. Is kind of my long way of saying that.
And like we're naming so many pivots. Keep in mind this is applicable for the rest of the season. We're naming so many pivots, but you want to only mix in one or two pivots. You don't play all the pivots together. Play a bunch of chalk and then just hope that you swapped out the bad chalk and then swapped in the good pivot.
Mhm. So for me, like the good chalk that I see on tonight's slate is gonna be more with the forwards for the most part. Like Wara, I feel like I'm jamming in. I'm perfectly happy to. And then there's not too much ownership here, but like I'm kind of fine with the other plays that are out there. Jalen Williams compared to FanDuel, he's clearly underpriced on DraftKings. I'm fine with that. Monk, I guess I'm fine with him as a play. Like I'm perfectly happy with that chalk, especially at small forward, which is typically harder to fill. What are your initial thoughts here for the forward spot today?
Forward, yeah, I'm jamming Monk. I have been every slate though. Kelly O, Bruce Brown. I mean, so here's the thing. I'm playing a lot of point guards today. So players like Bruce Brown with small forward eligibility,
Yeah.
definitely try to make sure they're in their small forward spot. Same with like Malik Monk, get him in the small forward spot. Like Jordan Orr showing up, Grady Dick and Agbaji, even though I hate it. Power. It looks like okay. So I'm kind of a little bit more concentrated in guards, even though I mentioned a lot that I'm playing. But my forward exposure is really spread out today, and so overall, I think we're just I don't know more confident in the guards and kind of guessing a little bit more on some of these mid range forwards.
Yeah, I would say I'm more concentrated at the forward spot.
Okay.
But it's more like, all right, I'm happy to play Monk, I'm happy to play Wara, and then I can get a little different.
Yeah.
And then like pay up wise for forwards here, like we got Tatum going against the Bucks, who is a little bit better with Giannis off the court. And then for Boston, I believe we were still waiting on some news here. You got let me just refresh here. So just got confirmation Jaylen Brown is active, Drew Holiday is out, and then Sam Hauser is out as well. So does that make you want to get to Tatum a little bit more?
I don't. Maybe actually, I was getting zero Tatum before.
Yeah.
And kind of just looking at the top of the model of forwards. I mean, I don't know. This isn't gross, but it's like very clear that the guards are much stronger near the top.
Yeah.
I don't know. Tatum against Milwaukee, 9,900, no ownership. Like, yeah, I mean that's a solid GPP play.
Yeah. And let's just kind of jump into that because I don't know, I wasn't expecting that combination to be out, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Boston always has something going on here. Does that change your priority at all with who you want to be on? Or do you think any of the ownerships are a little bit too low?
I don't think I'm playing anyone from Boston today.
Yeah,
were you asking about Boston specifically or just overall?
No, yeah, Boston specifically, just with, Hauser out who gets a decent amount of minutes and then Drew Holiday out, obviously a starter. I know they're all a little bit priced up though.
It's like looking at the ownership, dude. This is like the leverage spot. If one of these guys go off, you're in a great spot. I mean, I wonder if well, the model already had Drew Holiday out.
No.
So I was gonna say, I wonder if Peyton Pritchard goes up and Derek White goes up. Their prices both came up. But like, I don't know. I see Derek White projected so well every day. He looks okay today, and then
Yeah.
Peyton Pritchard. I mean, I don't mind playing Peyton Pritchard when Derek White or Drew Holiday is out, but once he's above 5K and we have the other options, we got to make decisions. But he's been so good off the bench that this 5K price like might not matter.
Yeah, with Hauser out too, so maybe gets a little bit more run.
And then I'll mention Svi Mykhailiuk at 3,300. Like him and O'Shea Brissett. O'Shea Brissett. I mean, bottom of the barrel punts, but just mention them because they're there.
Revenge game for Svi there.
Oh yeah, big revenge for him.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go ahead and jump into the centers here, and then we'll answer some questions and give you guys a first look build. So ownership wise, we'll start with that. Obviously, Porter is the value play that we kind of mentioned. 4K on DraftKings, 4.7 on FanDuel. Feels like a safe play across the board. But then we got Sabonis, Kelly O, Jalen Duren, and then Bobby Portis. Center every single slate just seems to be one where like I'm just like agreeing with the field. I just really lack conviction here. Where are you at today with center?
So remember we were like in a couple week stretch where we didn't like center on any day, I've just been playing Aiden over the field every day. It's worked out pretty well so far. And then today, I mean, I'm jamming Jonte Porter, playing 50% of him as of now. And then Chet, it looks like Chet and Aiden are my two kind of, I don't even know if they're contrarian, but Chet, Aiden, Demantis, and a little bit of Durin. Again, not that confident in center, but I don't mind taking my GPP shot since there's so many guards that I want to play. So I think I'll play the chalk at the other positions, and then center, other than Jonte Porter, I'll probably try and find some other spots. Playing a bunch of Demantis too. Those two seem pretty good.
We'll say when we sort by like values, DraftKings wise, Aldama does pop up as like an ownership leverage play, and then Brooke Lopez, I don't know, 0%. That's just those crazy to me. And then Zubac 2%, Green 3%. So like value wise, we are getting some okay, potential leverage spots, but I just don't know if we need to get that different.
Well, you say that, and I was going to say Jalen Smith showing him near the top of value. I'm interested in him most days when he's around this price, 3,900 on DraftKings at 7%.
Yeah,
against Detroit, especially, I don't think that this is a bad like spot to pivot to.
No, I think he's 7%. I was just trying to look at like guys that are basically unknown, but honestly, like he is a fine play, power forward, center eligible. Yeah, I'm right there with you.
And with Santi, I'm not touching him with Bane and JJJ in.
Yeah, I don't
at this price anyway. No.
Yeah. Let's see here. So let's jump into some questions real quick, and then we'll get into a first look build. So, can you go over Miami? We already kind of did. You want to just recap real quick?
Yeah, basically Terry Rozier is breaking the model today, and this is absurd. But if it's, I mean, it hasn't updated yet. I've refreshed a couple times. He's still super OF index, best play under 7,500 in the model. I guess not under 7,500, but between like 6 and 8K or whatever. Jimmy Butler is fine. Caleb Martin is a fine contrarian play, and then whoever starts at center, Thomas Bryant, Jovic, probably going to be pretty interested in them, and then Orlando Robinson is probably not going to start, but 3K off the bench. I think we have to keep him in mind too. Just don't forget about him once we get the starting lineup, and we should get it in like 2 minutes. So
Wiseman ?
Yeah, I saw a few questions about Wiseman in the chat. I was trying to pull up his minutes from the last game. He played 26, which is pretty significant against Boston. They got blown out, right? Like a lot of that was blowout run.
Yeah.
So, I mean, 26 minutes. He only played 16, 13, 19, 18 minutes in the 4 games before that. At 4,300, I think there's enough better options. But, like, I mean, he's a pivot to Jonte Porter, I guess, if you want to go that route.
Mm-hmm. And then, well, I'll answer the other question here in a second. But Kelly Oubre, any love for him with Philly being kind of still banged up?
Dude, he's popping up in my stuff, and I'm not sure how comfortable I am with it. 6,500, 6,900. The model thinks he's okay, maybe a little bit over-owned, but I'm not against it. It just, the minutes make me nervous because if everyone's playing Jonte Porter, Kelly O's still pulling ownership. Maybe Jonte Porter doesn't play as many minutes as we think, and Kelly O just has higher usage, whatever, especially with Quickly out. And it's not even like he's a low-owned pivot. He's like a medium-owned pivot, and so I don't know. I got to figure out what we're doing. Like, are you playing these two in the same lineup at all, Jonte and Kelly O?
Well, that was a question on Kelly Oubre, but
Kelly Oubre. I'm sorry.
That's fine, but no, I'll answer your question real quick. I'm fine with playing both of them. I haven't yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm doing it.
Yeah, I think that's fine. And then Kelly Oubre just probably a GPP only play. I just no need to get there. I was like, you're on Kelly Oubre that much?
No, my bad. No, Kelly Oubre. He put up like 50 last time. Smitty had him in his lineup. Smitty was in first place in the 100K until overtime of the Sacramento game. I think he ended up finishing like 4th and 7th. So shout out to Smitty.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but Kelly Oubre, I mean, he's a GPP play every day basically when he's under 7K. Like, don't really care what the matchup is. He's a guy who can get hot and get cold against any team. And so he's fine. I kind of like that the field's not chasing him after his monster game. I was over him on the last slate. I'll be over on him today.
Yeah. So let's get into the first look build here. I think we kind of know Porter. We kind of want to play. I'm like Wara. We're good with, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so.
We'll get those 2 chalk options in there. Who do you want to go with next?
Well, it's like the next 3 guys on ownerships after Amude are Fox, Sabonis, and Monk. And so I don't know what kind of salary we're gonna have less, but maybe we should go with one of the Sacramento guys.
Yeah, I'm fine with kind of Monk. I like probably the most, especially at small forward.
Yeah, let's do it. And then can we fit in like SGA?
Yeah, we can get to SGA. I think. I don't know.
Top of the model.
I like Ellis a decent amount. So like
Yep.
I would.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it. Are you worried at all about like Ellis and Monk cutting into each other, or
Not really at their prices. I guess. Like I still
okay?
think the floor is going to be high enough for both of them.
Okay.
I mean, ceiling wise potentially, but like Ellis is just a cheap play that I'm happy to get to. I guess. Whereas like Monk also just feels a little bit too cheap as well. But like, yeah, in a sense, like if I might be a little bit worried about Monk as a
Mhm.
if I'm playing Ellis, but
I will say 2 days ago, they both closed. They both played the entire fourth quarter, Monk and Keon Ellis. Keon Ellis actually checked in before Monk in the first quarter, played a short stint, came back to close the half, and then, yeah, him and Monk both closed that game. So no concern about playing them together. Nice.
yeah. From there, we might actually have to play Monk at the shooting guard instead, but we'll see. Obviously, we got a lot of chalk with Bruce Brown. Could play him. DK value wise, Crowder, some of that pops up to get different. We got Chet Holmgren there. Um, Thomas Bryant is someone we could play.
I really like Karis LeVert today. If we need, like, I don't think he's pulling a ton of ownership, right? But he's pulling some. Karis 16 and 13.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, we can play him.
It's like kind of our contrarian pivot in the dummy build.
Yeah, that's fine. Then we still have 7.3 left over. So this is kind of to my point of it's going to be pretty easy to make a good build really at any price point.
Yeah, just play one of those other 9K point guards and one of the 5K guys, or like a Chet Holmgren in the utility and whatever forward fits. Maybe a
Yeah.
Jalen Williams.
We'll do Chet in the just to see.
Chet, Aiden, yeah.
Oh yeah, Aiden we could do as well.
Still
I
just
know
75.
Chet was popping up a little bit more. So
Yeah.
Jalen Williams is too cheap. I mean, this is too much salary left over, but what $600 gets a good
Yeah,
thought
or
process going.
I think that we're still too short. I was gonna say Kellyo in the forward, Aiden and util, but I think we're still 200 short. But either way, I mean, you guys can find a good combo at the end there. It's like the guys we put in first are probably pretty good plays, especially if you're playing small field. I don't think you have to pivot off them if you get a little bit different in those last two spots.
Yeah, yeah. Last question: Fox or Booker?
I wasn't really looking at Booker today, but the field wasn't either. And so if you need a pivot in your lineup, I think that's a great pivot. Yeah, if the rest of your lineup is pure chalk, that's like those are the tournament winning pivots when it works out. When Fox fails and Booker does well, even better if like Monk is in the lineup and Monk takes away some of the possible fantasy points from Fox. Kind of works in your favor twice.
And with that, so any closing thoughts for tonight's slate other than like wait on the Miami starting lineup since we still haven't got it somehow? Oh no, we just did. So
I was gonna say, yeah, we just got something.
Terry Rozier, Patty Mills, Jimmy Butler, Jovic, and then Thomas Bryant.
Jovic and Bryant was someone else. Okay, so Caleb Martin's coming off the bench. I think they did this last time, so I guess it's not like a super surprise. Patty Mills in 2024, man. I don't think we're even considering him, but I think everyone else in that starting lineup is in play.
Yeah, I think that's fair to be, and I think the data is updated, so we still only have Jovic at 21 minutes and Bryant at 21. So interesting there.
It's gonna mess up the ownership percentages. Like we have the chalk already in Noir and Porter, and now we have to mix in Bryant and Jovic. And I don't know if Jovic is going to pull as much ownership as he should. I feel like Bryant will. And then also, still don't forget Orlando Robinson. Mix him in a little bit.
Do you think that's a one or the other with Bryant and Jovic?
I don't think so. I'm not sure. Like I can't remember the last time Bam missed a game, so I'm not even sure if I can try and find like the rotation. But I mean, they're willing to start him together. They're going to share the floor for at least the first 5 minutes of the game. Maybe they start the second half too, another 5 minutes, close the half. I don't know. I think it's probably okay. I'm not going to set any kind of rules for it. I probably would do max 2 of that whole group, including Robinson, and then do a straight max 1 of a Robinson, or actually probably just do max 1 of Robinson and Thomas Bryant. That's enough.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Is Pritchard still in play? Yeah, he's fine. He's fine. More of a lineup filler. And then we just got Isaiah Thomas is playing today. We'll see if he actually plays. He's active, right?
Yeah, I hope he does well. I really like him.
Yeah, he's a fun guy.
He's probably not going to play though.
No. Yeah, but any closing thoughts here?
No, I think we're good. Just chalk isn't bad today, but like we've seen it every day. Play the chalk, mix in a couple guys that aren't chalk, profit. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Is
All right,
Bryant
guys.
just the last one? Is Bryant a must play? I don't think he's a must play, no, but I do think you want some exposure to that big man rotation.
Yeah, it's not like Daniel Gafford was. I don't want to say he's a must play last night, but he was pretty great play. Like I don't think Bryant's anywhere near that.
And just I know we're trying to get out of here, but
Yeah.
the Pistons are starting Amude and your boy Ev Bumanman.
No,
So
they
were
are
you
not.
were you going to be more interested in him today now?
Oh, jeez. Fontecchio's out. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta play a little bit of him.
Mention it on the stream, man.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely playing him. It's just like
Yeah.
honestly, this is too soon. It's just fuck.
Yeah.
Oh man, I
Well,
want to see his minutes update in the model here. So, like, I would assume they get to like 20. Wouldn't you think?
it's possible, yeah. And it's like we have so many guys. I think we have enough guys in this price range where it's not like, oh man, we got to play this guy no one's ever
Yeah.
heard of.
Yeah.
But I'm probably gonna end up getting a few percent now, so we'll see.
It's gonna be worth the look. I mean, it's just that time of the season. Like, I don't know if you guys didn't like Keon Ellis, play a little bit of him instead, or both. You know, make another lineup with one or the other. They're at about the same price tag.
Yeah, today's slate's tough, but appreciate you guys bearing with us. We'll see you guys next time.
Yeah. All right, see you guys. Jump in the Discord.
Yeah.